Hello and welcome to my 30th water review for YouTube. We've made it to 30. Thank you all for watching, those who have just joined on, and those who have been watching since the beginning. This week, we have an American water, Ethos Water. Now, Ethos is a brand subsidiary of Starbucks, the coffee chain, and it is connected to their Ethos Water Fund, which is a fund that Starbucks donates to in order to provide clean drinking water to people in third world countries. Now, for each bottle of Ethos water sold, Starbucks will donate 5 American cents to the Ethos Water Fund. This may not sound like a lot of money, and you would be correct, since each bottle of Ethos costs $2 American or $2.45 Canadian, and they have sold enough to generate $6 million in donations, which equates to about 120 million bottles of Ethos water sold. So 6 million went to the fund, and another 234-ish million went into Starbucks executives' pockets. So in this case, it might seem a little bit more of a PR stunt and another way to generate revenues and less of a altruistic cause. So another fun fact about Ethos Water is in 2015, the Washington Post reported that the source for Ethos Water was a city in California, a state that has been plagued with droughts for the several years, which essentially means that Starbucks is taking water from those who don't have it, and in order to give to those who don't have water. Kind of a strange little paradigm there. Now, moving on to the bottle. The plastics used in the bottle are quite good, and the label itself is nicely designed, if a bit busy with the writing. There is quite a bit of writing, but overall a nice design. What I do find a bit strange, there are a few strange things about this bottle. One is the unusually small and not like it, the bottle cap really just does not go with the rest of the bottle. It's quite narrow, or short I guess you could call it, and it's made out of not as nice of a plastic, meaning that it's very difficult to get your hand around, and then it is also very small, thin, and just generally low quality. Also, which is quite strange, is I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but there's actually a little seal, I guess you could call it, around the bottom of the bottle. Now, if you look at something like Smart Water, there's no little lip on the bottom of the bottle. It's one seamless transition to the bottom. Whereas on this one, it looks like they've taken the bottom off of like a Nestle Pure Life bottle or like a Dasani bottle and then just glued it on or melted it onto the bottom of this bottle, which, given with the little short cap and the strange bottom to it, it makes the bottle look a little bit stout, whereas something like a Smart Water bottle is quite tall and slender. This one looks rather short and chubby almost. Anyways, strange bottle design aside, there's also no mineral table or nutrition facts table, which I was disappointed about, but I guess that wouldn't go with the whole chic design of this bottle. Now, moving on to taste and smelling notes. Now, they don't mention any of the minerals. It's sourced out of Lafayette, Wisconsin in the United States. Now, I guess they've decided to move it, seeing as they had that controversy back in 2015. And on the nose, I get chlorine and sulfate. The nose is actually similar in those cases to carbonated waters, but not necessarily in a good way. Now the mouthfeel isn't soft, which I like. I like a more fresh, crisp mouthfeel. And there is a slight metallic taste to it, but what I do find with this, and what I have an issue with Nestle Pure Life as well, is that it does have a strong chlorine taste to it and like a sulfatey taste, which does not bode well for the taste of this water. It's not great. It's not terrible, but it's leaning towards Nestle Pure Life, which, as you know, I'm not a fan of. Yeah, I describe it as like it's taken on the taste of the plastic of the bottle. It has it leaves kind of a residue in your mouth almost from the chlorine and the sulfate and all that. But overall, it's not terrible, it's not great, but in terms of taste, it's not doing great, especially considering how expensive this water is. So, final score for Ethos Water. The website ethoswater.com does not actually belong to Starbucks. It's actually a hilarious page where they make fun of the Ethos brand and its little funding donation campaign behind it. So if you're interested, I'd recommend going to ethos-water.com if you're looking for a good laugh. In terms of the actual Starbucks webpage for Ethos, it's just one single webpage on the Starbucks website that mentions about the water fund and nothing else. So there really wasn't a ton of information about the water. The most information I got was off of the bottle. The website really didn't say anything else, so I couldn't give it more than half a point out of 2.5 points for company history and interestingness. In terms of bottle design and materials, the plastics for the bottle are quite good, and the plastic on the label and the way they've glued it on makes it quite seamless and nice overall from about here to here. However, where the bottle design and materials loses points is in the tiny little short stubby cap, and then the strange glued on Aquafina bottom, which just give the overall silhouette of the bottle a little bit of a weird look to it. So in terms of bottle design and materials, I couldn't give it more than 1.5 out of 2.5 points. Also, they didn't include the two tables that I really like to see on water bottles. So, especially if they're not going to tell me about the source, I'd really like to know what's in the water, but I guess they don't care. At least it's clean drinking water, unlike the billions of people who don't have clean drinking water. In terms of taste and smelling notes, the chlorine and sulfate notes really don't bother me that much on the nose, since a lot of carbonated waters do have that as well, but in terms of still waters, I would prefer that taste doesn't get carried over into still water, seeing as it can't be masked so much by the other notes that carbonated waters have to them, the sour, citrusy, fresh notes that a carbonated water can have. So in this case, it does lose points for having a strong chlorine and sulfate taste. It tastes like just like a plain treated water, especially and definitely not worth the high price tag. So in terms of taste, smelling notes, I was only able to give it 2 out of 4 points. It's not undrinkable like some waters, but it certainly wouldn't be my first choice. In terms of value, I really could not give it more than 1/4 of a point out of 1 point for value. It just really seems like a way for Starbucks to increase their margins and less of a way to donate to people in need. Seeing as the water is $2 American or $2.45 Canadian, and they only donate 5 to 10 cents, depending on the currency, you really do end up looking like a chump for buying this water. And now I know it seems kind of unfair that I'm making fun of pretentious Starbucks buyers when I do drink smart water, but you'd be better off just going to the convenience store next door and buy literally anything else. So, in terms of value, this is really not a great value at all. It's very expensive. If you have no other choice, sure. Once you go to Starbucks, there really isn't any choice for water unless you want to get like a San Pellegrino or something carbonated, or like a coconut water. But if you really just want still water, you're really stuck with this one. So, final score, 4.25 out of 10. Not a great score for Starbucks in this case and their Ethos Water brand. And honestly, if you really just want to donate to people in third world countries who don't have clean water, you're better off just donating to a charity. Instead of the $2 you'd spend on this water, donate $2 to a charity. More of it's going to end up going to help the children than the 5 to 10 cents that'll go from Ethos Water. And then just go buy a 24-pack of Nestle Pure Life for $2. So, anyways, thank you all for watching my 30th water review. Here's to another 30. We only got, 22 more weeks until we've been doing this for a year. Next week will be another regular water review from my location here, but we might get some water reviews on location on some of my travel destinations, so that'll be fun. You might see a bit of change of scenery over the next few weeks. And don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and share the videos with other people. I just noticed that my Evian water review is at 500 views, so thank you all for watching. And I will see you next week. Thank you.